Welcome back to Fun King Garage. On today's episode, we're going to be continuing the Fummins project. I have some cables and wires to get through the firewall, so I'm going to work on feeding those through first, and then my goal is to get the cab back down on the frame. With a handful of wires and cables to pass through the firewall and into the cab, I have chosen to not drill any additional holes. So the idea is to take the factory grommet off of the firewall, pass everything through that grommet, and then reinstall it so that it's as factory as possible. Now, the other plan is to roll the chassis back as far as I can and bring the cab down to where everything is at a good working level. Okay, so I managed to get that wire for the Edge CTS3 through there. That connector was huge to try to get through that factory rubber grommet, but I was able to get it in there, and I'm paying the price. So I've been fighting the cold, and everything wears me out, and that absolutely wore me out. So this set of wires right here is part of the DCS harness, and it goes to the throttle pedal. But I don't want the DCS harness to be permanently part of the truck because it's kind of already permanently part of the motor. So I'm going to cut this and put a Dooch connector in here. Now, of course, the scary part is this is going to be a 6-pin. This is also a 6-pin that's part of the harness already, but I think that I can route them in whatever. I did verify that the two connectors do, in fact, it would help if I put it in the right way. They do, in fact, fit together. And no matter which way I make them, which side I put the positive and negative on, it's not going to make a difference as far as not being able to accidentally plug them into the wrong one. But it's just got to be the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 6-pin in here, and that way I can disconnect this harness anytime I need to. Oh, it should also be noted that these wires are in groups of 3. They're like three wire twisted pairs. So I'm going to kind of keep them lumped together inside the connector. Oh, that just doesn't feel right when I do stuff like that. going to make these the male. Yes, I'm going to make these the male so that the other male 6-pin coming out of the connector, out of the harness, can't plug into this. And for anybody wondering, this is the IWISS brand, IWISS. And they seem to be pretty decent for a decent amount of money. Let's do the other 3. Again, I'm trying to keep them all away from each other. Probably have to unravel them just a bit. Yeah, these are the solid connectors on the splits. You just drop them down in the crimper. Follow it with the wire. Crimp. Super, super easy. And really nice connectors. Wait for the clicks. Oh, don't need a pair of pliers. There it is. Now we just got to do the other side, which will be a little easier because it's floating out here.
I was just seeing if you were doing the zip tie thing.
No, I muscled that through there.
Did you?
So that ring is too soft. If I would have tried to zip tie it, it would have just crushed it. Like it would have ended up. So what I did was I rolled it back as far as I could this way, and then I grabbed it with some pliers and I kind of lifted it up and I stuffed the other end in there. And then I rolled it back out and then I pulled it the other way and I jammed what, I jammed something in there. Maybe it was a pair of pliers. I don't know. But, oh no, I took the pliers and I was pushing on the back of the connector. And I just rolled it, just like, and finally got it through there. But, like, of course, in my condition, now I'm exhausted.
Wow.
It's all good. It's all good. So with those wires and cables through that firewall, it's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I was not looking forward to that step in the project because I knew it was going to be a lot of work, and it was. But they're through there now, and it looks absolutely factory. I couldn't be more pleased with the way it turned out. But that brings me to the next step, and it's one that I've really looked forward to. And to say that it's been a long time coming would be an understatement. With part delays and unavailability, and then, of course, with my OCD and everything having to be a certain way, being it's my truck, this has taken a lot longer than I've planned. Like most projects. But it's time now to work on getting that cab down onto the chassis, hopefully for the last time, at least until I can build a new motor that'll be more powerful than the one I'm putting in now. But I have to admit, I made one mistake. One. All right, so in fairness, I probably made more than one mistake, but I have one mistake that I have to take care of today before I bring the body down, and that is here on the frame rail. I ran this wire through the connector that I put to be my new chassis connector, and this connector runs the backup camera and the lock for the tailgate and that kind of stuff. And I ran an extra wire down through the frame and ended it here with the intentions of hooking it to the new steps because they have lights in them. And then I realized that that is now a chassis wire and the steps would be a body wire. So while I realize that that's not a terrible mistake to make and it's not the end of the world, I'm going to just heat shrink the end of that wire and abandon it for now and use it for some future project, whatever that might be. So for now, I'm just going to throw some heat shrink on that. I'm going to get everything out of the way, and then it's time to bring the body down. What's up? And now I know if I ever need that wire, there it is. Get everything out of the way. back down on the chassis, hopefully for the last time until the new motor comes way in the future. It amazes me how rolling that chassis back and forth a handful of times had knocked it that far out of alignment. But it was nothing that the floor jack couldn't fix in a quick jiffy. And now that the cab is back down on the frame, it's time to get the body bolts put back in. Of course, now thinking about it, I probably should have put the Loctite on that yet. I'm only going to set these temporarily. That is just wiggling around in there. Seven more to go. There are 8 bolts that hold that cab to the frame, and I didn't think that you needed to see me install all 8 of them. But a little blue Loctite and some proper torque from a torque wrench, and that cab should be securely mounted to the frame now. Now's the point in the project where I have to start bolting on all the little bits and pieces that had to be removed to get the cab off the frame originally. And every day the bed of the truck becomes more and more empty. Empty means that there is less parts to put on the project, and less parts means that we're almost done, which is exciting, but also a little sad. What else is sad is that this is the end of the episode. I want to thank you for tuning in. Whether you're new here or a returning viewer, I want you to know that you are appreciated. Now, there's still a lot to do on this project before it is actually wrapped up, but for now, I gotta grab my tool bag, hit the road, and move on to finding my next adventure. So, thanks for watching.